A king sent his nephew on an impossible quest to retrieve a golden fleece from the edge of the known world, guarded by a dragon that never slept. The nephew assembled the greatest heroes in Greece, built a ship, and sailed into waters no one had mapped. He survived clashing rocks that crushed ships, fire-breathing bronze bulls, an army of warriors that sprouted from dragon teeth, and a dragon wrapped around the fleece itself. He succeeded, not through strength or courage, but because a sorceress fell in love with him and betrayed her father, her family, and her kingdom to help him. This is the story of Jason and the Golden Fleece. The myth is preserved in multiple ancient sources, most completely in Apollonius of Rhodes's Argonautica from the 3rd century BCE. It is one of the great adventure stories of Greek mythology. The quest assembled nearly every major hero: Heracles, Orpheus, Theseus, Atalanta, and dozens more. They were called the Argonauts, named after their ship the Argo. What makes the story interesting is that Jason is not the hero. He is the protagonist, but he is not particularly brave or clever. He succeeds because other people save him. First the Argonauts, then Medea. Without them, he would have died in the first challenge. If you're following the complete Greek mythology series, subscribe to Snap Old Myths and hit the bell. Like this video if you want more, and let's get into the quest that should have killed everyone involved. Jason was the rightful heir to the throne of Iolcus. His uncle Peleus had usurped the throne by murdering Jason's father. Jason's mother saved him as an infant by smuggling him to the centaur Chiron, who raised and trained him. When Jason came of age, he returned to Iolcus to claim what was his. Peleus saw Jason coming. The oracle had warned him, "Beware the man with one sandal." Jason arrived wearing only one sandal, having lost the other, helping an old woman cross a river. That woman was Hera in disguise, testing him. Jason passed. Hera became his patron. Peleus could not simply kill Jason. Too many people knew who he was, so Peleus made a deal. He would give Jason the throne if Jason brought him the golden fleece from Colchis. At the edge of the Black Sea, the fleece was the skin of a golden ram that had saved 2 children years before. It hung in a sacred grove, guarded by a dragon, in a kingdom ruled by Ates, a son of the sun god Helios. Peleus expected Jason to die. The journey was impossible. The fleece was guarded by a creature that never slept. No one who went to Colchis ever returned. Jason accepted the quest anyway. He had no choice. Without the fleece, he would never be king. Jason commissioned the greatest shipwright in Greece, Argus, to build a ship. The Argo was a marvel, 50 oars, reinforced hull, and a beam from the sacred oak of Dodona that could speak prophecy. Then Jason sent word across Greece. He was assembling a crew for a quest. The greatest heroes answered. The roster of the Argonauts reads like a greatest hits of Greek mythology. Heracles, the strongest man alive. Orpheus, whose music could charm anything. Castor and Polydeuces, the twins. Atalanta, the huntress. Theseus, Peleus, father of Achilles, Meleager, dozens more. They were the best warriors, sailors, and adventurers Greece had ever produced. The journey began. The Argo sailed east across the Aegean. The first major obstacle was the clashing rocks, the Symplegades, 2 massive rocks that smashed together, crushing any ship that tried to pass. The Argonauts sent a dove through first. The rocks crushed its tail feathers. They rowed hard, timing their passage. The rocks closed on the Argo's stern, shearing off part of the rail, but the ship made it through. After that, the rocks stopped moving. The passage was open. They stopped at various islands. At Lemnos, an island of women who had killed all their men, the Argonauts stayed too long. Heracles forced them to leave. At another island, they fought the Harpies, winged creatures tormenting a blind prophet. They drove the Harpies away. The prophet told them how to survive the rest of the journey. Heracles left the quest partway through. His companion Hylas was pulled into a spring by nymphs. Heracles searched for him and refused to leave. The Argo sailed without him. The greatest hero in Greece was gone. The quest continued anyway. They reached Colchis. King Aetes welcomed them, but had no intention of giving up the fleece. He set conditions. Jason could have the fleece if he completed 3 tasks. First, yoke 2 fire-breathing bronze bulls. Second, plow a field with the bulls and plant dragon teeth. Third, defeat the army of warriors that would sprout from the teeth. If Jason succeeded, the fleece was his. If he failed, he died. Jason had no idea how to survive fire-breathing bulls. He was going to die. Then Aetes' daughter Medea saw him. She was a powerful sorceress, a priestess of Hecate, skilled in magic and potions. She fell in love with Jason, not naturally. Hera and Aphrodite arranged it, manipulating her emotions to help Jason. Medea decided to betray her father. Medea went to Jason in secret. She offered him a deal. She would help him complete the tasks and get the fleece. In exchange, he had to marry her and take her to Greece. Jason agreed. He had no other option. Medea gave Jason an ointment that made him fireproof. He could yoke the bulls without being burned. She told him how to survive the warriors. Throw a rock among them, and they would fight each other instead of him. She gave him everything he needed to succeed. Jason just had to follow her instructions. The next day, Jason yoked the fire-breathing bulls. The ointment worked. He plowed the field and planted the dragon teeth. Warriors sprouted from the ground, fully armed. He threw a rock. They turned on each other. Jason survived. Aetes was furious. He had expected Jason to die. He planned to kill the Argonauts anyway and burn their ship. Medea learned of the plan and warned Jason. That night, Medea led Jason to the grove where the fleece hung. The dragon was there, coiled around the tree, eyes always open, never sleeping. Medea sang to it, a spell of sleep. The dragon's eyes closed. Jason grabbed the fleece. They ran. Medea had betrayed her father, her kingdom, and her gods for a man she barely knew. Aetes and his men chased them to the ship. The Argo set sail immediately. Medea's brother Absyrtus pursued them. Medea killed her own brother to slow the pursuit. Some versions say she killed him herself. Others say Jason did it. Either way, she dismembered his body and threw the pieces into the sea. Aetes stopped to collect the pieces for burial. The Argo escaped. The return journey was long and filled with detours. They had to be purified for the murder of Absyrtus. They passed the sirens. Orpheus played music louder than their song. They survived Scylla and Charybdis. They encountered Talos, a bronze giant guarding Crete. Medea used magic to kill him. The Argo finally reached Greece. Jason returned to Iolcus with the fleece and Medea. Peleus refused to honor the deal. He would not give up the throne. Medea offered to help. She told Peleus's daughters she could make their father young again. She demonstrated by cutting up an old ram, boiling the pieces with herbs, and pulling out a young lamb. The daughters believed her. They killed their father, cut him into pieces, and boiled him. No young Peleus emerged. He was just dead. Medea had her revenge. Jason and Medea were exiled for the murder. They went to Corinth, where they lived for 10 years and had children. Then Jason decided to leave Medea. The king of Corinth offered him his daughter in marriage. A political marriage, a chance to be king. Jason accepted. He abandoned Medea and their children for a better offer. Medea's revenge was absolute. She sent the new bride a poisoned dress and crown. When the bride put them on, they burned her alive. The king tried to save her and died too. Then Medea killed her own children, the sons she had with Jason, to hurt him in the way that would destroy him most completely. She escaped in a chariot pulled by dragons, a gift from her grandfather Helios. Jason was left with nothing. Years later, Jason died alone. He was sitting under the rotting remains of the Argo when part of the ship fell and killed him. The ship that had carried him to glory killed him in the end. That is how the myth ends Jason's story. No heroic death. No grand finale. Just a piece of wood falling on a broken old man. The golden fleece itself becomes almost irrelevant to the story. It was the excuse for the quest, but the real story is about Medea. She is the one with power. She is the one who makes the impossible possible. Jason is just the person things happen to. He succeeds because Medea helps him. He fails because Medea destroys him. Ancient Greeks saw Jason as a deeply flawed hero. He is not brave like Heracles or clever like Odysseus. He is competent enough to lead the Argonauts, but he survives the tasks only because Medea cheats for him. And when he has what he wants, he betrays the person who gave it to him. That betrayal costs him everything. Medea is the more interesting character. She is powerful, intelligent, and willing to do terrible things for love and for revenge. She kills her brother to save Jason. She kills Peleus to avenge him. She kills her own children to punish him for abandoning her. She is not a victim. She is an agent of destruction who makes her own choices and lives with them. The myth raises uncomfortable questions about loyalty and cost. Medea gave up everything for Jason, her family, her home, her future. She committed murders for him. And Jason left her the moment a better political opportunity appeared. The myth does not excuse Medea's murders, but it makes clear that Jason's betrayal triggered them. He created the monster that destroyed him. The quest for the Golden Fleece has become the template for every impossible mission story in Western literature. Assemble a team of specialists, face escalating challenges, succeed against overwhelming odds. The Argonauts are the first superhero team. Every heist movie, every adventure quest, every group of misfits saving the world descends from the Argo. But the template also includes the ending most modern versions ignore. Jason succeeds. Then he betrays the person who made success possible. Then that person destroys him. The quest is not the end of the story. The consequences of the quest are the story. What you do after you win matters more than winning. The myth also teaches that helping someone does not mean they will stay loyal to you. Medea saved Jason repeatedly. She gave him everything. He left her anyway. Gratitude is not the same as loyalty. People take what they need and move on. Medea learned this. Jason learned this too, but too late. Modern retellings sometimes try to rehabilitate Jason, to make him more sympathetic, to suggest he had reasons for leaving Medea. But the ancient sources do not give him that grace. He made a deal. She kept her end. He broke his. That is the story. He paid the price. The Golden Fleece represented kingship, legitimacy, the impossible prize that would make Jason's claim to the throne unquestionable. He got it. He lost the throne anyway. The fleece did not matter. The cost of getting it destroyed him. He sacrificed Medea for power and lost both. The story of Jason and the Golden Fleece is about assembling the best team in the world, completing an impossible quest, and then losing everything because you betrayed the one person who made it possible. Jason got the fleece. Medea got revenge. The Argonauts got a story. Jason got a piece of wood falling on his head. The Argo carried the greatest heroes in Greece to the edge of the world and back. Jason led them. Medea saved them. And when it was over, Jason died alone under the ruins of his own ship. That is the lesson. You can succeed at the impossible quest. You can win the prize. And you can still lose everything because of who you betray along the way. This video was created by combining human research and script writing with an AI-assisted visual production, bringing these ancient stories to life for modern audiences. For more Greek mythology, related books, and the AI tools we use to make this content, check the links in the description below.